motivation hygiene theory or Frederick Herzberg theory. Given by Frederick Herzberg. Looks like some cartoon character, alva? Very nice fellow. So it states that not all job factors motivate employees. Very much true. Right or not? So there are a lot of factors. What do I mean when I say job factors? Everything that is involved in taking up a job is nothing but a job factor. Okay, so it could be my financial situation, or it could be the requirements of the organization, and then all the other things. Okay, all the other things that you guys told: salary, recruitment, work environment, culture, promotions, growth, all those things. Okay, so it is stated that not all the job factors motivate employees. That means not every sphere of the organization. That's what, like, yesterday when you guys were talking about your work experience, you were telling that massage chair was good, right or not? So that factor kept you motivated, right or not? Yes. So could be like, you felt good about it. It's not wrong. It's fine. Okay. So some of you felt that, you had smoke zone. That was good. Some of you felt that there was sports arena. That's good. Yes. It's like, that factor kept you encouraged or kept you entertained in this particular work environment, right? So some of you were like, I don't like anything about this organization. They're paying me properly in time. Every 30th or 31st of the month, I'm getting my pay. I'm done with that. Okay. So not every factor. Okay. Maybe a person had to commute for 2.5 hours. Still, he liked the job because, there were like, good people accompanying him in the journey, 2.5 hours journey. Okay. So could be a possibility. So not every factor can be a motivating factor of employment. So he says that it determines about as individual's attitude towards the job determines satisfaction. So job satisfaction they are talking about. So it is each individual's attitude that is going to decide what makes him to be satisfied in this job. Okay. So attitude, the way he sees things again. Okay. So what's the difference between attitude and perception? Attitude is also same thing only. No. What's about perception? How do you differentiate attitude and perception? You're talking the other way around. Perceptions are mostly backed by your past experiences, your beliefs, your norms, values, all those. Attitude is general. See, perception is a short-term thing. Okay. Whereas attitude is little longer time, experience or like a feeling. Okay. The actual difference is that, attitude is little for a longer period. You can't develop an attitude for like, a momentary time. Whereas perception can be like that. Okay. See, generally both are same. Like how are you seeing something is nothing but your perception. How do you perceive things is nothing but perception. So how do you want to see this particular thing? How do you decide to see one particular event or situation or an object? That is nothing but perception. Attitude is the way you decide to see it. Okay. So almost same, but this is for a shorter duration, whereas attitude comes with long time. Okay. You don't develop an attitude like just like that. Right? It takes lot of experiences for you to develop one attitude. Got it? Yes. So now an attitude of an individual decides what is going to be his factor, motivating factor in the employment so that he is satisfied with the job. So here, this job satisfaction is going to have two dimensions anta heltare. Okay, so one is your hygiene factors and the other one is your motivation factors. So what motivates and what demotivates anta classify ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Got it? Yes. So that is what is classified into. Hygiene factors are those things that are not so very, motivating for you. Whereas motivating factors are what actually motivates you. Okay. So this job satisfaction is primarily depending on the factors that is motivating you, the factors that are demotivating you. So when the number of factors that motivate you to the employment is more than the number of factors that demotivate you, then you are going to be satisfied in the job. Generally, you should have like, all the things should be motivating, zero demotivations. But now it is not like that. There will be increase and decrease in the numbers. So when the demotivating factors increase and they impact you more than the motivating factors, then you're not satisfied and you're bound to leave the organization. Got it? So now we have to weigh what motivates you, what demotivates you. See, everybody can be demotivated in an organization, like, for a lot of reasons. Now, let's say there's going to be a meeting. Okay, you have made some blunder in the week. Okay, they will criticize you. They are going to, have like, sessions over sessions about, criticizing your mistakes and saying that how the organization was impacted because of your mistake and how the entire team suffered because of one mistake. They're going to tell about it. And it's quite natural. Okay, so it is a demotivating thing, right or not? So the effect of one action is multiplying, right? So eventually you will feel bad about it, but you have to pull up. Okay, you have to pull up your socks and prove yourself again, prove your mettle, and then again climb back to your older position, right? So there is going to be demotivating and motivating factors. So how do you balance another? Now, organization also should be very sensitive to how much demotivation you can give. See, sometimes negative motivation works. It depends on the person again. I had one math teacher in my school. Okay, very strict teacher, my class teacher. From 8th standard, she was my class teacher. Okay, first thing that she used to tell me is, Gayathri, if you do this, you're not going to score sanctum in final exams. Okay, that stuck into my mind. I was scoring sanctum in maths. Okay, school, class test, like midterm, all those. I should score sanctum. In the final exam, my bad, I scored only 87. I can't even believe that I scored 87 in maths. Okay, believe. Okay, so negative motivation works for somebody. For some people, it works a little negatively. Okay, I still feel that my maths ma'am was truly responsible for that 87. Okay, you'll never know how a child is getting influenced by the motivation, words that you use, right or not? So it can vary. Negative motivation is you're scaring the person with the negative impacts of not being motivated. Okay, see, the thing is like, I used to study at home. Okay, so in the class, it used to be like, fun time for me. So they used to hate it. So what they used to tell the other children is, she studies at home, you people don't study at home also, so you're going to flunk. Okay, so it was negative motivation. So they're telling you, if you don't do this, you're going to face the issues of it. Okay, so eventually they didn't flunk, but I didn't get sanctum. Okay, so one works, one did not work. Right, you will never know. So that is negative motivation. So it's important that even if there are demotivating factors, you at least tell the employee that, this is for a shorter period. You can sail through. We are here to help you. Okay. So now we'll get into the factors. Hygiene factors. So what are these? I don't know why he named it as hygiene factors. Okay, so yes, but otherwise it does not have any connection with the public administration nor motivation. Okay, now so hygiene factors are primarily, they are talking about the external factors. Okay, so when I say external factors, what does it mean? The outside the employee's performance aspects. Okay, that is nothing but external factors. So they are related to job context. Okay, so now dissatisfaction could be prevented by improvements in hygiene factors. So if we are able to convince an employee stating that these are just temporary, we can get better at it, then maybe he can remain motivated. Okay, so these improvements would not alone provide motivation, definitely. Right? So Herzberg showed that to truly motivate an employee, a business needs to create conditions to make him or her feel fulfilled in the workplace. So these are the hygiene factors: company policy and administration, technical supervision, interpersonal relations, salary, job security, personal life, work conditions, and status. Why is personal life put here? How can an organization, control it? Maternity leaves could be one big example, right or not? Paternal leaves. We didn't have something like paternal leaves like some 10, 15 years back, but today we have paternity leaves as well. Right or not? So you get 15 to 20 days of leave to take care of your spouse and the child, right? That's important. Some of the organizations even give 1.5 months leave, right? That's a big time. That's a very big time for, the family, right? So company policy and administration. What and all will fall under this, where an employee can remain motivated? Like, see, actually what they're saying here is these hygiene factors should be taken care of by the organization so that the employee is not demotivated. These are things that are going to demotivate him if it's not maintained well, right or not? So what should be the company policy and administration so that the employee is not demotivated? You do not make them work for 12 hours a day. Nobody is going to turn up to your organization. It's absolutely demotivating. Then health insurance, very good. Health insurance is a one good thing, right? Then all these, benefits with respect to insurance, PF, gratuity, all those should be, Okay, all those should be taken very good care of. Okay, so then that attracts people to join your organization. Administration, keep it at the optimum level. Don't overdo it or don't underdo it, so that you keep the organization running at a decent pace. Got it? Then technical supervision. Don't scare away your employees by introducing extreme technical details. Okay? Yes, if you're an organization involved in technical job, yes, we need technical expertise. But then supervise in such a manner that, they are happy with such supervision. Okay? And also make sure that the critical areas of the organizations are well supervised. Okay? If they are not supervised, see, actually for any organization, technical area is very important. Why? Because that is the area which actually operates in the core business of the organization, right? So if they are not supervised properly, that means your process is going weak. Okay, so that's very important. Then interpersonal relations, give more scope for interpersonal relations, value them. Okay, and also sometimes companies should not interfere much into the controlling of interpersonal relations. Okay, so maybe harmful interpersonal relations can be, warned at constant notices, but then you should not regulate them largely. You should allow people to interact and develop some kind of cordial relationship amongst each other. Then salary and job security, very important thing. Keep your salary in such a way that you are able to motivate the employee. Do not demotivate an employee with your salary structure. Pay matrix should always be decent and market standard oriented. Okay, security, you should ensure that the employee will be given enough scope to retain the job. That means what? So you cannot extend me a pink slip just for minor things that I commit, minor mistakes that I make in the organization. You should ensure that you've given me enough scope to rectify my mistakes and get better at it. I mean, get better at my work. Okay. So it should not be like, there is excessive penalty charged for any mistakes or any deviations from the works. Okay. So that is nothing but job security. You ensure that the employment is secured, at least for a reasonable period of time, at least for a time period of him being able to find an alternative employment. Got it? That is nothing but job security. Then comes personal life. You ensure that you give him enough scope for, especially for women. Okay, especially for girls when they are like, in early 20s and all, it is fine. Okay, and then when it comes to their, late 20s or 30s and all, they should be given enough scope for maintaining their personal life. In countries like India, especially, where women are requested more or demanded more to remain in the house than the men. Okay, so such situation should be like, some of the companies, IT companies, and, give you scope for maternity leave. 1.5 years, they give you, leave. Okay, where, I don't know the policy actually. A couple of my friends had it. Like, they have work from home option for after 7 months or 8 months. They can stay for 6 months and then they can work from home and then they can resume work by after like, 18 months. That is 1.5 years. So that's such a good opportunity. Right? So the child's well-being is taken into consideration, the mother's health, mother's economic independence is taken care of, and the family health altogether. Right? So that's very important. Insurance of the spouse, for the spouse, child, and the parents, they're very important. For a country like India, where the aging population is more, insurance cover is very, very important. Right or not? But these company insurance do not cover most of the old age ailments. Okay, your parents' health benefits will not at all be included anywhere. Like you want some arthritis to be treated, it's not covered under the insurance policy. Right or not? So most of them suffer from osteoporosis or arthritis, things like that. Okay, so I mean, depends. Okay, so apart from the negatives, it's important that you make sure that you give enough scope for the personal life of the employee, because this is very important. Ultimately, why does any employee wants to work? To feed for himself and for his people, his or her people. Okay, it's all about them. If you look deep down, it is very much important. Okay, for every human being, it is very important to ensure that their people are taken care of. So if it is not being taken care of, then this organization is not minimizing the factors of demotivation. Got it? Yes. Then work conditions and status. Work conditions, we know. giving cab facilities, all these, extra sugared drinks, right or not? All those coffee machines what they have, right or not? Coffee machines, and then, all the eateries that they provide, okay, junks mostly, right? So provide them better work conditions, right? So if you do not give good in these areas, then these are the factors that are not going to keep an employee motivated. So it might turn into factors that are demotivating an employee. Got it? Yes. So now let's take a look at the factors that motivates an employee. Okay. So they are intrinsic, definitely. See here, this is related to job context. That means what? This is related to job content. So what is it? What's the difference between job context and job content? Content is, I think you went the other way around. Think through. Context is how, which area is going to help you to remain motivated. Okay, content is mostly about what. Okay, so it is mostly about what is going to motivate you. So it is related to job content. What are the components inside a job? So hygiene factors are in relation to a job. With respect to job, the other factors, how it operates anta. Whereas job content, motivating factors are inside a job. What are you going to get out of performing this particular job? So it is very much intrinsic within the job, and it is very much personal. Got it? Yes. So the presence of these factors cause job satisfaction. Got it? So hygiene factors, if they are not well maintained, it will lead to job dissatisfaction. Here, these factors will help in job satisfaction. It does not lead to job dissatisfaction, but it leads to no satisfaction stage. Got it? Yes, that we will see in the next theory, right? So these factors motivate employees to work. First one is achievement, second one recognition, work in itself, then responsibility, advancement, growth. Now define each one of them. What's achievement? Completing the assigned task within the given time period. Just that, is that the achievement that you're talking about? Accomplishing the tasks, special bonus or performance related bonus. Okay, then it is an achievement. Performance related bonus is an achievement. Because you outperformed, you got a bonus, extra cents. That's good. Okay, then rewards and recognitions. Okay, and tools. Tours. Okay, if the company has a policy like that, then yeah, it's an achievement. Okay, yes. So all those that the employee feels that, he can achieve in the near future. Like, let's assume that somebody is, sent for a Switzerland tour. Okay, so next batch, I should go. That's that's like, motivation that's going to help you achieve that little later. Okay, so it's primarily whatever the organization recognizes as an achievement, they are going to motivate you to remain in this employment. Okay, then recognition, very important thing is recognition. So who takes the credit for what job? Right or not? So how much credit you get for the job done? Okay, let's assume that there is a manager you work for. Okay, he constantly takes all the credit for all the work that you do. How bad you would be feeling? Very bad, right? Therefore, that is not any motivating factor. So give enough recognition. Even a small input is taken from an employee, recognize it, appreciate it. And recognition is very important for an employee because, that is something that everybody wants, every employee wants, recognizing the efforts, okay? And also sometimes recognizing the results is different from recognizing the efforts, right? So many of the organizations recognize only the results, not the efforts. So that should be a little directed towards efforts as well. Because, if someone's trying, you should be happy about the trying, not just the results. Got it? Then work in itself becoming a motivating factor. How? If a person likes the job very much and if the person is able to perform really well, like, if he is able to achieve full potential on day-to-day basis, then work in itself can be a motivation. Okay, so now let's assume that a humanitarian, gets to work with an orphanage. Okay, don't you think that will be like, perfect employment for that particular person? right or not? So it's going to keep the person motivated to do it for the rest of the life, right? So the work in itself can be a motivation for somebody. Okay, then responsibility. With responsibility comes little authority. Okay, so when you are given entitled some amount of responsibility, no, there is some power with you, some authority with you. So somebody might like the responsibility. Like, sometimes when certain tasks are assigned to you, you feel proud about it, right? So it was told to me only, right? So that giving that responsibility is also a way of motivating an employee. Okay, you're saying that you are somebody who is capable of holding this responsibility. So it makes the employee feel good about it. Okay, motivated. Then advancement, positional growth. Okay, that is nothing but advancement. So you advance in the career that you've chosen. Okay, so there is professional growth, that is nothing but advancement. Then comes finally growth. What is this growth? Growth need not necessarily be individual. With the organizational growth, he is also growing personally. That is nothing but growth. Okay, now so it's not just professional, he is also individually growing. Okay, that is nothing but growth in here. Got it? Yes. So these are the factors that motivates an employee anta heltare. Got it? Yes. So how do you weigh the factors? Now, for an organization, hygiene factors are very important or motivating factors very important? Balance between the two is very, very important because, these are the things that primarily anybody considers when they are taking up an employment. Right or not? What's in it for me materialistically another. Okay, so this decides mainly. Okay, and if an employee wants to continue in an organization, these things become very important. Okay, you might start off where a company is paying very well and all that, but eventually you'll start feeling like, they make me work like a whatever. Okay, so then you might start feeling that, your self-value is deteriorating, right? Then these factors become little important. Okay, yes. So always an organization will have to balance between hygiene factors and motivating factors so that there is balance. Got it? Yes, he says the factors, this leads to job satisfaction. This leads to job dissatisfaction. Andre, if they are not maintained well, they are going to lead to job dissatisfaction. Okay? Yes?